Welcome, fellow lovers of the weird and strange. This is Lance, your host of Legends of the Hidden Horde, where we explore the folklore behind the mythical creatures that stalk the dark corners of our globe. A huge thank you to all of you for tuning in. Your ears make these strange journeys possible. If you enjoy the show, please hit that subscribe button, leave me a quick review, and give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, or X. Your support truly makes a difference. Now, let's dive into the next story. In the vast, windswept lands of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, where the Badlands stretched like ancient bones under an endless sky, stories have been passed down through generations of Lakota people. These are not mere tales for entertainment. They are living threads of oral history, woven with respect for the land, the ancestors, and the unseen forces that walk among us. In episode 29, we approach one such story with care and reverence. The legend of the figure known as Walking Sam, also called Tall Man, Big Man, or in older traditions, Chiye-Tanka. We honor the Lakota and broader Indigenous voices who carry these traditions. This retelling draws from documented accounts, elder perspectives, and cultural context. Recognizing the folklore here represents deep connections to place, history, and resilience amid profound challenges. It is shared not to sensationalize, but to explore the mystery with humility. Let's put ourselves on the reservation at twilight. The sun dips behind eroded buttes and rolling prairie, painting the sky in bruised purples and fiery oranges. Shadows lengthen across roads that wind through communities where families endure poverty, historical trauma from colonialization, and the enduring strength of the Lakota culture. It is here, in this geography of resilience and grief, that sightings of a tall, unsettling figure have been reported for decades, perhaps longer, in varying forms. Elders speak of Chiye-Tanka, meaning big elder brother. Some describe him as a guardian spirit of the land, a brotherly presence that glides through forests like a moose with great antlers, untouched by the trees, ever waiting, ever present. Oglala Lakota medicine man Pete Ketches, in accounts from Peter Matheson's In the Spirit of Crazy Horse, portray him with a mix of awe and kinship, a being both spiritual and real. One he knew as my brother, whose touch might bring a blessing. Yet in modern tellings, particularly around Pine Ridge, the figure has taken a darker aspect. He appears as a spindly, unnaturally tall silhouette, often 7 to 10 feet or more, with disproportionately long limbs, a stovepipe hat, and a long dark coat or cloak. His face is frequently described as featureless or mouthless, a void, though some report piercing red or glowing eyes. He may carry draped forms over his arms, souls or bodies of the lost, macabre reminders of his passage. A foul odor sometimes accompanies him, and large footprints over 13 inches have been noticed in snow or mud. Police report lend weight to the accounts. In August 2006, Oglala Sioux Tribal Police Chief James Twist documented a rash of tall man or Bigfoot sightings. Officers using thermal imaging captured a large bipedal heat signature. Footprints and strange encounters followed, including one where a figure banged on a car door at night demanding entry. Similar accounts span Cheyenne River and other reservations, sometimes blending with Takuhi, Big Man, or stick people lore, mysterious entities that lure or test the unwary. Let us step into the story as if it might be told around a fire, or in the quiet hours when the prairie speaks. Years ago, in a small community on the reservation, a young man named Chayton walked home after a long gathering. The night was cold, the stars sharp overhead. He felt the weight of unspoken burdens, the struggle of his people, the pull of a world that often felt indifferent. As he trudged along the dirt road, a shape detached from the shadows near a strand of trees. At first he thought it a trick of the light, but it grew taller, impossibly so. Its stovepipe hat silhouetted against the moonlit Badlands. Long arms hung at its sides. No mouth moved, yet a voice slithered into Chayton's mind. Not through his ears, but deeper, like a thought that was not his own. "You are alone," it seemed to say. "The world turns without you. Why carry this pain?" Chayton froze. The figure, walking Sam, did not rush. It walked with deliberate, long, looping strides, keeping pace just at the edge of vision. In its arms, faint glowing forms shifted, echoes of others who had listened. Despair bloomed in Chayton's chest, heavy as wet earth. He remembered stories from his grandmother of shadow walkers or spirit-born from the land's own sorrows, fed by collective grief. He ran. The wind howled behind him, carrying whispers that followed him home. That night he spoke to his family. They performed a ceremony of protection, smudging with sage, prayers to the ancestors, songs to strengthen the spirit. Chayton endured, drawing on the resilience woven into Lakota ways. But not all stories end in resistance. In the winters of 2014 and 2015, during a devastating cluster of suicides, over 100 attempts in a small community, many young people described the tall man appearing at the edges of their vision or in dreams, urging them forward to the void. An elderly woman at the 2009 tribal meeting pleaded for federal help against this big man in a tall hat who preyed on the youth. Ministers and leaders acknowledged a suicide spirit, akin to, yet distinct from, modern internet legends like Slender Man. The legend resists simple categorization. In one case, it overlaps with cryptozoology, hairy stovepipe hat Bigfoot reports, large tracks and physical encounters suggesting a flesh and blood being rather than pure spirit. Some link it to older Takuhi tales from the 1970s, more Bigfoot-like. In another, it is purely paranormal, a psychic predator feeding on hopelessness, emerging from Wind Cave, National Park's depths, or the Badlands' hidden places. Variants appear among other indigenous groups, showing how stories adapt across nations. Skeptical perspectives offer another edge: social contagion amid real crisis, poverty, historical trauma from events like Wounded Knee, intergenerational pain. Folklore can amplify despair or serve as a cultural lens to name and confront it. Elders emphasize that older big man traditions include protective aspects. The malevolent suicide spirit may reflect modern suffering more than ancient malice. Some see it as a warning, a manifestation of unhealed collective wounds urging community healing. Respectfully, these beliefs coexist with calls for mental health resources, cultural preservation, and addressing root causes. The entity teaches that stories hold power to harm or to heal. As the fire dies and the prairie reclaims the night, we turn to deeper reflection. Walking Sam, Chiye-Tanka, the tall man who walks, embodies the shadows we all carry. Despair born of disconnection, the weight of history, the frailty of hope in a fractured world. He teaches us that isolation is the true predator. In Lakota worldview, we are Mitakuya Oyasin, all my relations, interwoven with land, ancestors, community, and the unseen. When those bonds fray, the whisper grows louder. The lesson is resilience through connection, ceremonies, storytelling, mutual support, and honoring indigenous knowledge systems that have sustained peoples through centuries of adversity. For the future, this entity warns of broader implications. As global societies face rising mental health crises and cultural erosion, manifestations of collective despair may multiply. in folklore, in minds, or in actions. Yet it also points to hope. By listening to Indigenous wisdom, respecting oral histories, and addressing systemic inequalities, we can starve such shadows of their power. The tall man walks not to doom us, but to remind us. In unity and remembrance, we stand taller than any shadow. That's it for today's story. If you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Give me a follow on social media. For more information on the story, you can look at the links in the show notes. And until next time, Mita kuyo oyasin. Walk with your relations. And keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows.